called the most cosmopolitan city of the Midwest, Detroit today stands at the threshold of a bright new future, one rich with the promise of fulfillment. In this bustling city on the straits, where British and American flags soon followed the French, a spirit of brotherhood was born and nurtured, foreshadowing the city's international character. Here, people from many nations have met and mixed and built a metropolis of thriving commerce and culture.
Hi, my name is Daniel, and welcome to my neighborhood.
We've just about got the city under control now.
Living in a crib, no heat, no water. Pockets on E, just had me a daughter. So I gotta get it like I know I can. Blowing on Dan, chopping up grams. Maxed out bridge cards, kids drinking juicy juice. Grown man still living off Fruit Loops. Sip fade, go better made, red hot. In the wrong place, might see red dots. Hot dogs in the pot, ramen in a microwave. Sitting on the porch, sugar in the Kool-Aid. Focus whole beef in the big metal.
To relive this story, we have to bring it back to March 16th, 1981, when a Motor City star was born. Danny Brown was born in Detroit to his 18-year-old mother and his 16-year-old father. Both of their names are unknown, but we do know that Danny was surrounded by music and art at a very young age. His father was a house DJ, and Danny would hear a bunch of different music while growing up. And his mother would read him Dr. Seuss books, which inspired him to rhyme in his own words. He also had a heavy influence from his grandma, as she helped the young parents of Brown to keep him off the harsh streets of Detroit. All these influences in his early life built his dream of being a rapper. Danny would always want to be a rapper, even since kindergarten. As mentioned earlier, his parents would do their best to keep the young gun out of the streets, even going as far to buy him the newest video game to keep him in. They could only keep him cooped up for so long, as by the time he turned 18, Brown began to deal narcotics. His parents also split up at this point, and he didn't have a father figure in his life, so he felt he needed to be the man of the house. Danny would sell and have some run-ins with the law, but it was while he was on probation that got him caught up and sent to jail. Brown would do 8 months and really start taking his music career seriously after he got out. Danny would begin his ascent in 2003 as he and fellow Detroit rappers Chip and Dopehead would form a group called Reservoir Dogs. The group released their own independent album called Run His Pockets and Dump 'Em in the River. They would gain some spins on local stations for their single Yes. Brown would actually garner attention from Rockefeller Records in these years. And a side note, Rockefeller was the cream of the crop for like labels and artists trying to go after that one. Anyway, he would be flown out to New York to work. Lack of success and growing impatience from Travis Cummings, A&R for Rockefeller Records, Brown would go back to Detroit and link up with Nick Speed, also a Detroit native, but he is a producer, and they make some great music together. Okay, let's jump to 2008 when Brown would release his own work under his own name. Along with that came Hot Soup. This was Brown's first mixtape, and it was a great one at that. I love the soulful samples throughout the songs and the storytelling of the harsh life growing up in Detroit. It is his most inviting and easy listening album he has in his discography. I personally love this one, and I have a personal connection to the city of Detroit, and it just feels nostalgic when listening to this. It really makes you feel like you're alongside him in the Midwest, walking through his songs step by step. Definitely should check this one out. Just a couple years later, in 2010, is where we get the next release from Danny Brown. Coming with that is The Hybrid. In this, we get a more experimental Danny, but still sticking to his gangster rap and Detroit roots. It still has that character of not being fully polished, but a fun sound. Not too much to talk about this one. Still a good listen, but I would say it's definitely his weakest in his discography. Just a year and some change later, we get a collaboration album with Black Milk, another Detroit-based producer. The title of this album is Black and Brown. It's 22 minutes, so a very short listen, but you can definitely hear the increase in quality and production, and Danny growing further into his sound. I also want to mention that Danny is a co-producer on most of his songs, so it just shows his artistic ability even further than just rapping. It's easy listening, I just think it's a little too short. Good track nonetheless. Again, just another year later, in March of 2012, we get his fourth album, Triple X. And this is considered to be his best by many people. The 3 X's represent Brown's age at this time, being 30. In this album, we get the best of Danny Brown and the unique sound Danny is known for. He really hones in on his craft on this album and finds the sound that I and many others love. Fantano would give this a decent 8. For those of you who don't know, Fantano is widely known as YouTube's go-to critic for music reviews. The production is on point and complements the distinct voice of Danny. This is an hour long with 22 songs, and it is so good, honestly. The thing with Danny is that you are going to hear a multitude of different sounds on the same album as we see here. This goes back to his roots of his dad introducing him to music at a very young age. We get so many different versions of Danny on this album. It's really fun. His funny lyrics, his introspective, his deep lyrics, him talking about his drug abuse. I mean, it is really, truly amazing how an artist can just fit in so many different pockets and just do so well in them. Would recommend everyone listen to Danny Brown, but at the very least, listen to this one because I think it is his personal best. It's 2013 now, and we get another release from Danny, that which is being old. Honestly, I don't want to spend too much time on this album. Kind of like a fusion of pop and rap. He's got some more notable names as features in this album, but I just don't think it's really who Danny is. Still definitely different from what you would hear normally in the rap scene, but not as experimental. A little drop in what we got from Danny. We're here now in 2016. We get another highly received album in the form of Atrocity Exhibition. This is pure beauty from Danny, really diving off the deep end and going into his new experimental sound. He touches on his continuous drug problem. He goes really deep with this. I mean, there's some heavy lyrics, darker undertone to this whole album, but very good as well. A fun fact about this album is that Brown spent $70K on samples. For those of you who don't understand, that is a crazy amount of money, obviously, for anything, but to spend on samples too. Jokes about like he would delete this album in a heartbeat and save all that money, but I doubt that because this came in the form of one of his best. I mean, it may have not got the first week sales that he was hoping for. Danny's always going to stick to who he is and stick to his sound.
Bro,
You know what I'm
do
saying?
what you want to do or do what you think is going to sell.
In my whole entire career, I just did what I wanted to do.
And I think that's more important than what quotas you need to hit or what you need to make. As he also touched on this in his Triple X album with the single called Radio Song. Although he jokes about it, I highly doubt it because it is a true form of art that it represents Danny. And that's all you can ask for out of an artist is to be creative. Some great features on that too. Another 3 years later in 2019, Danny releases You Know What I'm Saying. All right, I feel like this is a step above old, but a step down from his previous. Now, take that with a grain of salt, though. That's stacking it up against one of his core albums. But I also think this album speaks to his talent. Here we see a veteran rapper putting out a solid project that may divert from his super out there music, but yet it's still great. As I mentioned previous, Danny can fit in these pockets, do so well in them. You know, he's not just stuck in one lane. He has a multitude of different sounds, and amazing what he can do. Another solid album from Danny up to this point in his career. I don't think we'll expect anything less though. So we're here at the final segment of the video, and I'm going to discuss his more recent albums, the collaboration one and his most recent. This is the album Scaring the Hoes, which came out in March of 2023. This was another huge album for both of these artists. If you're looking for a unique sound, this is most certainly that. And it teeters on the line of this term called headphone music, in the sense that these artists or these songs are only to be played while wearing headphones. Anyway, this album kind of breaks that threshold where it is exposed to an audience who might not typically enjoy this music as such, but they did. A really fun album from both of them. After that, we get Danny's most latest album, which is being 40, which is 40 in Italian. Of course, like Triple X, that was 30 in Roman numerals. Danny's 40 years old at this point. So by this point, Danny is solidified in rap as a trailblazer for his sound that he created. His iconic yelps and high-pitched notes he does, and his experimental instrumentation he uses. He's known as that guy, is generally liked by most people, and his core audience of fans love him. Quaranta is similar to You Know What I'm Saying in the sense that it isn't as grand as his two notable albums, but not bad at all. I love that Danny can do a more chill album per se, and it still sounds amazing. That's why Hot Soup and this are some of my favorite and up there in the rankings. Also very easy listening and a good starting point if you want to get into his music. Alright, so we made it through his career. And Danny Brown is such a unique artist and a true pioneer of what he wanted to do with music. He's a great example of doing what you want to do and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Listen, I get this music isn't for everyone, and that's okay. But at least try it out and see if you like it or not. And if you are a Danny Brown fan, be on the lookout for his new album, Stardust, coming out November 7th. Let me know what you guys think of Danny Brown and the progression throughout his career, and how you view him as an artist. I personally love his music, and if anything from this video, just inspire to be great and do what you want to do, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Like, this is one of the illest niggas. He broke it down to him, like, what makes me so ill? Which we can talk after.
That has to be nice.
No, I'm literally, like, super ill. Like, when it comes to, like, rap, like, it's just like cheating. Like, I'm like steroid, like, it's super ill. Like, I can cheat. Like, it's super ill. So